Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, Chris?
What's going on?
All right, it's just me and you today because Tish had she pretty much got tied up with some other stuff going on. She's trying to get her inventory together for the year, and she got caught up with her inventory, so she wasn't going to be able to make it with us today. So we kind of like we're taking over for today. DJ's
Definitely
rule.
understand that.
DJ's rule. So what we're going to talk about today, I think this is the perfect time because like for most of the time, beginning of the year for most businesses is we're trying to establish and get ready for what to expect for the year. And I know we have for the last couple of weeks we've been going back and forth talking about different operations, different software, how AI can help pretty much take over and run things in the company to a degree, even though we have to feed it. So we talked about a lot of different things. So today we're going to talk about trends, costs. To me, I really want to stress costs and operations because I honestly don't think people understand how a DJ company operates and why the cost is different. Because I think the DJ industry is so unstable when it comes to the cost, and I really want to stress the difference because um, today I know I was going over information with a client, and just to hear like how she was in a group and other brides were talking about just getting together a playlist because they're saying the cost is too much. The average cost right now, and this is kind of crazy that I'm hearing out here in our area, is for a wedding is $2,800 to $3,200 for a full DJ entertainment package, and we'll break that down in detail. But just like me and you, we were just talking, and we were talking about operational costs, and my operational cost is way lower than your operational costs, uh,
Correct, correct.
and it has a lot to do with the equipment that you have and the equipment that I have, and we'll talk about that. And first thing first, because like you have I'm gonna say you have a whole industry of to do so many provide so many services. So, how many services do your company provide?
Ooh, let's see. Currently, because I know we talked about it at the beginning of the year, I cut what? I cut three services. So right now we have photo booth, we have dancing on the cloud, we have just of course DJing. So right now, as we speak, then you have just your regular sound enforcement. You're looking at around five to six different just services now um, that we offer now. After cutting some of the ones that are well, I forgot about Monogram. So yep,
So, your equipment inventory, I know we have two. Most DJs we don't have the same inventory.
correct.
I know your inventory is different than my inventory. Any other DJ, we're going to have all different inventory to get what we get the job done, and that's where we'll have a difference in the price. When it comes to doing taxes, we talked about how the new stuff is what gets us, but the old stuff doesn't do much for us. Um,
Correct.
and that's just something that comes with their territory. But like for difference, my company and your company, the difference is like your LLC, correct?
Correct. Correct.
I am a sole proprietor based on those things. Um, my operational cost for my company is 300. Your operational cost is pretty much probably up there close to 1,000 a month. So that plays a big has a big impact on how much we charge.
Exactly. Exactly.
So when we talk about different things and different packages, let's say for example, if you took a standard system and say, okay, all I want the DJ to do is to show up with just the equipment and play the music, even that has a significant different dollar amount
There's so
because
many variables with that.
it is because like with me and you, we show up with our own equipment. Like when I say
Yeah.
that, I'm talking more so just the basic. Like you have the podium and you
Correct.
have the American DJ stand. I have the
Correct.
American DJ stand, and I have the the fastest DJ table set up. So I have different modules as well. Where most DJs that are their cost is lower, they don't show up with they don't even show up with a table. They're relying
Correct.
on the guest.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's where the price value goes up and down. Now, what the trend that I'm seeing right now is it's starting to look like some of these companies are charging too much, but they can probably validate why they charge what they charge,
Correct.
which make that's what I'm not against trying to stuff, but like when you have different prices in the market, it looks kind of extreme. Like if I'm only charging $800 or $1,000 to do a wedding, and I have this person over here charging $3,200 to do a wedding, then someone has to explain why is there a gap that big
Correct.
in our industry.
Correct.
And it goes and it's like I said, if we all had the exact same equipment, it would be completely different.
Right.
If we
It
all
wouldn't
had
make
the
sense.
same operational costs, like you have a storage that you have to pay. You had $200 for storage per month.
Exactly.
I don't have
Exactly.
a storage
Exactly.
fee. You have the CRM, you have your AI, you have so much stuff that controls because you also have a career that you're doing as well. I do this full time, so a lot of things that you're having to pay for, I can do myself because I have the time to do it.
Exactly. Yep.
So I want to make that clear to everyone that when you start hearing different prices, it's more so of how that person is operating. They're technically how they're living has a big piece. Full-time DJs versus part-time DJs, there's a significant change as far as like how much money it costs to keep their business running at a standard.
Correct. So another factor you got to think about too is backup equipment, right?
Right.
Um, if the DJ doesn't have backup equipment, what are they gonna do if something goes wrong, right? Um, so if both speakers that they bring to your event don't work, then what are they gonna play on? You know,
Right.
I think you and I just kind of looked at some speakers that are coming out or that just
Ooh.
released, and for one speaker it was $4,000.
Yeah.
$4,000 for one speaker. Now, granted, there are some less expensive speakers, but you know, we look at what do we look into a speaker? What do we want out of a speaker? What capabilities do we want? Right? Are we looking to say space? Are we looking for 120 distribution angle? Are we looking for a long range throw? So again, it kind of goes into the equipment that we buy. That's kind of where the difference into what we buy as equipment goes into, and that's going to dictate the price. Something that typically does 120 degree distribution is going to be your column array.
Right.
Column arrays are a little bit more pricier than just your regular top speaker, like 12-inch or a 15-inch speaker. I got my QSE K12, the K12.2s. They're a little bit cheaper than my column arrays. I mean, it kind of is what it is. However, I still needed column arrays to do some of the functions that I needed to do. They're a time saver,
Right.
space saver.
And they're
So
smaller and they're not that hard to. I mean, and most speakers now they're not hard at all. It's more of a plug and play. Um,
exactly,
you're not really having to do a lot for balance and sound quality or checks. So pretty much it's more of a plug and play.
exactly,
Um, and then it comes to like space, because I know we were talking about the issues that we run into when we go places that have a downtown area, but yet that we can't get into those areas because we have to take our truck and trailer, or car and trailer, or SUV and trailer, depends on what you're using to get in there. So
exactly.
most of the time, if you don't have a system set up, I had to do that when I went to Charleston last year. Is I had to have a system that allows me to just take my truck, and I cannot take a trailer.
Right,
That becomes a major that by itself is what caused the price to go up for us, because we're having to purchase put more money into the equipment just for compatibility.
Exactly. Exactly.
So those are things. And then I mean the basic stuff that we have to pay for is like music. People don't understand that we don't go to Spotify or what's it what's the one YouTube. We have to
Exactly.
actually pay for our music. And it can become very expensive. It depends on, like, especially when you're doing music videos, music in general, because most of your record pools now, I mean, they start at $20, but they go as high as, I think the highest one I've seen so far is 79.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
and that's one of the things that we're really paying for. That's why my operational cost is different. Is that the majority of stuff is it goes into my website, my music, and my insurance. That's it. I don't have to worry about anything else. But some of these other DJs, hey, they're doing the bare minimum, so the price again reflects that.
Well, see, you brought up another factor and a variable there. Insurance. Not all insurance are the same. Not every DJ carries the same insurance. My
Most of
insurance
them don't
policy.
have. I mean,
I
most
was
DJs don't
gonna say
have
most
insurance.
don't even have insurance.
Right,
Exactly. So I was gonna say my insurance policy probably looks completely different from your insurance policy. Now there might be a lot of things that are similar or alike because the ones who carry insurance, there are things that we tend to keep the same just for venue sake, what venues require us to have. But far as like if I had a total loss, right? My coverage that is gonna cover is gonna look completely different from what yours would cover because
right.
you have different equipment. You have Bose, I have QSC, JBL. I also have 3 photo booths. I have 2 photo booth printers.
Hmm.
So my equipment I'm trying to cover at a total loss is going to be way higher.
Right,
So that's another complete variable that we hadn't even thrown in or we hadn't even dove into far as overhead costs.
right. But like you take a DJ that's just getting started, and it's just for them to get the components that they need to get a strong established baseline. It's expensive now. It's like back when I first started as a company. Even though I did go with the cheaper speakers and things of that nature, I had to build myself up to get those the right speakers. But it takes time, and if you don't have like roughly $5,000 or more to get the right stuff, it can become extremely challenging. Thank God for me, when I came in, I had like $5,600 to invest in equipment, so I was able to get a good start. Even though I still purchased the wrong stuff,
Right.
I had a good baseline so I can learn and go out and get the right stuff.
Same.
And
Same.
and that's one of those things to where I express to a lot of DJs is that take time out, and most time take time out to ask other DJs that've been in the game long enough, and they'll tell you what's going to work and what's not going to work. But
Exactly.
but nowadays with technology, that's where, and that's it. We never really compete against each other, but technology is what makes it challenging for us because now you have things to where what I saw someone post what was it, the speaker system that you can go to Sam's and purchase that have
Oh,
all
you're
the
talking about the
special,
one with the lights.
right, the ones with
Right.
all the special features
Right.
and stuff. And I saw it was a DJ that was using it. And the question I had was, okay, if the speaker can meet the needs, then hey, by all means, it has the light show going on, it meets the sound quality, that's perfect. But for some of us that look at that, we're looking like, okay, that's not feasible for what we do. If you're doing a wedding and you got the speaker going off with all these different lights at all the wrong times, it's just there's a certain, you have to fit it in to where it kind of like complements the setup versus disturb the setup.
Correct. Correct.
And those are things like people go out and they purchase light systems that they can't control. That becomes a problem. So as time goes, we learn how to modify our equipment into fitting in to where it's a perfect part of the vision that the client has for that special day, that wedding day, that retirement. And that's where it becomes very costly. And then when we're talking into our operations, like the biggest piece about operations, each DJ entertainer slash DJ entertaining company have different operations. Like with you, you have a full, I mean, you have a full, was it CRM
Correct, correct.
that goes in, does the contract. It pretty much gives the client a database to where they can go through and modify. I mean, it's pretty much they're managing their entire event through your software that you have that runs your company.
Exactly. So,
And go
oh,
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead. I was
No,
gonna say,
go
if
ahead.
you're like me, I like structure. I mean, that's just kind of built into our, and you
Right.
you can contest to it. Just your background is structure, right? So I like something that I can go in and I can see that's either color coded, it's in order from the date, and then it's in order from actions, and it tells me exactly where I am in the process. Because, like you said, I am not full time currently. However, I will be transitioning to full time here shortly, soon, in a couple years, maybe 5 years. Fingers crossed. So but even with that, I fell in love with this CRM that I probably will keep it. It's just because it just makes my life so easy. I can go in and I can just look at the different events that I have booked, and I can just look at the color, and it tells me I know exactly immediately without even clicking on anything, and I know exactly where I am with that process. I know I can see exactly where clients are with their planning. So anytime unless they do not do it on the CRM, they pull off the planning forms and they do it, outside of the CRM. That is the only thing that when I can't see is when they take something off of the CRM, because you can download the forms and you can save them on your computer, you can save them on your tablet, and you can do everything. However, they haven't made it to where they can just re-up. They can send them to me in an email, but they can't re-upload them. That's the only downside I haven't seen on any CRM yet. So I do ask my clients to fill everything out in the CRM. Don't download it. If they want to download it and work on it, that's fine. But if they just, I ask them that they do type everything into the CRM. That way I can see, everything. And then when I do my follow ups, I can ask, I see, oh, it looks like they're kind of stuck at picking the first dance or something. And I can remind them, hey, this helps you pick out for a first dance. It pulls like the most 100 first dance requested for this year. Here's some, just some ideas of to try to get you over the hump of what's going on or where you're stuck at.
And that's what and let's what does the CRM stand for? Just so people
Uh,
understand what it
don't
is.
quote me on this, and I can look it up real quick. But I want to say I think it's records management.
Okay.
Let me. I'm gonna look it up.
Because I know when you were saying CRM, I know what it means, but I know some clients, some individuals out here are like, okay, what's the CRM?
Oh,
And
customer relationship management.
there you go.
See, I was close.
You was close. You was almost on the target. You like,
Right.
but that's one of those things to where I stress to people that when you have a company that uses a CRM, that's cost. That costs money. That's something to where that goes into their operational costs. So that is something that's big. Me, I have my own. I am my own CRM.
Right.
So okay, let's see. I got a comment. It's best to get professional help and information. Absolutely,
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
and
Look,
that's
I,
where
I call Mario all the time. Mario, and I run things against Mario, Corey, Tavares, like
I'm
everybody.
the same way. I always got to bounce it off of someone because as a DJ entertainer, you learn. It's a learning process.
Exactly.
And as you learn how to adjust. And you really, if you're serious about it, about being a DJ entertainer, you really have to take time out to properly manage it. You
Yep.
have to have structure. One of the biggest things that makes us successful as DJ entertainers is we have a strong structure on how we operate. Our contracts, our contracts are sometimes it's a savior. Sometimes it works both ways. It looks out for the customer and it looks out
Exactly.
for you as the DJ company slash entertainer, and that speaks volumes sometimes about what type of services you're going to get based off of the contract.
Contract.
Uh,
Exactly.
I'm still to this day, I can't believe it, but I'm still to this day, I'm still hearing about DJs who are not using contracts,
Mm,
and that's a double edged sword that can work for you. It can work against you. But it's crucial. It's very crucial because me as a DJ, I'm not. I don't know. Do not want to go into a situation not knowing anything.
exactly.
And having a CRM in place, having a contract, having those type of tools, it really prepares us for what we have to do as a DJ entertainer for events. I can't like today. I can't even imagine going into like only time I can see myself going into an event completely blind is if I have full control of what the music I'm playing.
Right. Right.
If they just let say, "Hey, go for what you know," then guess what? I'm good. But when I'm going into a wedding, that's not going for what you know.
Exactly.
There's a lot of
Exactly.
stuff you got to know in advance.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, but that's the biggest part. Like I said, I was trying to explain to people is the cost. Just because one DJ company is charging 3,200, and go here. I just heard. Okay, there we go. Just because one DJ company is charging 3,200 and another DJ company is charging 1,000, it has a lot to do with their operation. It has a lot to do with the equipment. So just because a DJ doesn't cost as much doesn't mean they're not a bad DJ. At
Exactly.
the same time, doesn't mean they're a good DJ either. But all that goes into doing your research and looking at their
Excuse me.
footprint on the digital world, like their referrals, or excuse me, not the referrals, the
Reviews.
reviews. So all that plays into it. So what you got? You gonna show us something, Chris? I saw
Oh
something
yeah.
pop
Well,
up.
I mean, I'll just kind of show them basically what the client sees in the CRM that I have, and this
Okay.
is what I call them their portal. And of course, I did a wedding one right now, but I can do them for any types of event, whether it's a retirement, it's a family reunion, whatever the case is. I can do it for any one of them. This is the home page that you'll see. Right now, I just have my picture of just a company image, but I can, again, different CRMs do different things. With this particular one, you can put a customization of a picture on there for them. I put a tutorial. I linked a tutorial on there, so if they need to, it kind of gives them an outline of how things work. Um, I put a navigation tabs on there, so it gives them information on how and what pages are and how to use them. Also, give them a warning that their account will be locked out 2 weeks prior to the event, because that's when I start really like, look, you can't make any changes unless you talk to me when we're on the phone communicating. Hey, I want to move so and so out of this spot, because 2 weeks out of event, you're moving stuff and then things are not solidified. We're in trouble. So 2 weeks out, basically your forms are locked out, and if you need to make changes, then we got to do it on the phone or via email or via text or something like that. So it's live edits. It's no more, oh, I do it at my leisure. Nope, I need to know so I can make that change like right then and there. um, and then it just tells you like your upcoming events. Again, I just want to stress, not all CRMs are the same. They don't have the same. What I like to say is GUI for our computer folks out there, graphic user interfaces.
Mhm.
So it might not look like this. This is just how mine is set up right now. Um, you have your home, you have your events. Well, let's go back to that. Sorry, I'm gonna stop sharing that real quick because I don't want them to see um, any client's information, because that's the back end. And then we'll show
Okay.
I'm gonna go back into this. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. All right, so we're back. So we go to this one is my events, and this is basically the only event that's up. Again, this is just a trial one, so I can show everybody what you get when we say CRMs, because you might not know what a CRM is. And then this gives clients just a good idea of why sometimes costs are different as well. For what I do is I put the date of the event. So For examples, this one is January 1st, 2030. It gives the package. So it's or the event type, it's a wedding. The package is my Condor package, and it's the most popular. The status is pending, meaning I haven't signed a contract, I haven't made any payments on it or anything like that. If you go to my profile, again, it's information about the client. Um, you have a contact person, which will be the client.
Right.
This is very important for vendors because we got to know who to get in contact with. Yes, we've talked to you over the phone or maybe email or text, but we need to know your information. Far as legalities, things like if we're sending you documents or whatever it is, we just need to know like your information. A lot of times I don't get mailing address. However, there are times where I do try to send out cards and stuff, but thank you cards or either anniversary cards. If I don't get an address, then I mean, I just don't. I send it out in the email. Um, I don't. I'm not a repo. I'm not a collections agency. If you don't pay, you don't. I'm not. I don't. I don't show up. So you ain't got to worry about me showing up to your address. As far as that purpose is, I know clients like, well, I don't want you showing up. I'm not going to chase you down. That's what the contract is there for.
Right.
You're legally bound to pay, and once you pay, I'm legally bound to show up. However, I know there's some talks about different things with that. This is how you get in contact with us, right? Um, we'll go back to my events and we'll just kind of dive a little bit more into this. So, like I said, for me, this is how I plan everything. You have your music, your forms, and your timeline. You can go into your music, add requests, view requests, print requests. So if you want to request some songs, you can request all your songs in here. You can review what you requested. And then if just for whatever reason you want to print your request, you can reprint them. I can also send this special link out to your guests to where they can only access your requests for music and they can request songs. And what I like to do is I like to, anytime if I do like a guest request, I like to make sure that the client gets an email saying that, hey, so and so requested this song. And I
Right.
do that because now you're a vector in that song, right? If you see they requested it and you tell me, hey, Chris, nope, absolutely not, I'm not going to put it in there. I'm just going to delete that out the request. They will not see any of your information. All they can do is request a song and that's it. They can't see anything like your financial. They can't see any of that. They can just go in, say, I want to request a song, and that's it.
Right.
Any of your planning forms, they're going to be here. We'll just kind of look at some. So we're not going to go too deep into it, but these are your planning forms. Um, you put all your names that you want, different types of events. Um, so your planning forms, and then your timeline. If you want to do a timeline, you put your timeline in here.
Right.
Let's go back to plan my event. Again, you have your event details. This basically gives your event details, start time, end time, basically the again type of event, the booking status. Your event ID doesn't mean anything to you as a client, but it does mean something to me. It's just I can track the events.
Right.
It tells you the service, and then it gives you a description of service. So again, and we can talk about this. So like for me, right, I don't mind disclosing prices. So for my Condor wedding, for me it's 1850. Again, is you get three options for photo booth. You can get a mirror booth, you can get the traditional um, booth, or you can get a 360 booth, right? And it comes with the attendant. If you get the photo booth, it comes with prints. If you
Right.
get the 360 booth, you download the video right then and there. So I have to have dedicated router and everything for the 360, and then of course I have to have the media, the printers, and everything for the photo booth. Um, of course, you also get cocktail hour. You get ceremony. With my ceremony packages, it comes with four microphones, and then uh, every every service has its own set of equipment. So I don't go swapping, taking this one to go over here. So ceremony is going to have its equipment there. Cocktail hour is going to have its equipment, and
Right.
reception is going to have its equipment. And then it goes into payment options, so you can pay, and it tells you basically how much you've paid and what your remaining balance is. Um, we can go. It goes into your contracts, and then I also put in just other little helpful documents like a wedding day emergency kit and stuff like that. Invoice, client receipt. You want to go into look at the contract or anything, Mario? Or
Yeah, let's go ahead and
okay.
do that
All right, so
because
we'll look at this one. This is the older one, and we can look at the older one as well, and we can look at the newer one, and we can compare. So this is your newer one that I have. It starts out with basically saying, this is a contract between the company and the client, and then
okay,
it also tells you the date that this contract will be effective. Um, Again, it gives the client, and then it tells like what services I'm going to provide, right? So package, the start time, end time, location, the date, the retainer fee is $150, and then the total price of the package. Payment options, basically the retainer fee is not refundable. That retainer fee is basically standardized, pretty much not the amount, but just the non-refundable standardized. It basically is there for us to not take another booking on your date unless you're a multi-ops company. I
right.
am not a multi-op, so that ensures you that I will not take another event. I will be there at your event. Like
Hmm.
that's all it does. It takes that date off the market. Once I take that date off the market, I cannot put it back on there. So I turn down other contracts. So that's why that is non-refundable to a certain degree. Um, Late penalties. I don't really have late penalties besides return checks. So, however, I did get away with checks. So just because I've had so much issues with return checks, I'm gonna be doing away with just taking checks altogether.
Right.
I used to have up here at the top. I used to have like to fill out the checks to here. As you can see, it's no longer up there. That's because I'm doing away with it. I just did not take the check um, verbiage out yet. So then it goes to the company obligations. This is what you should be looking into your contract. What is the company? What is the obligations of a company, right? You always want to make sure that the company, is holding itself to some obligations, right? Um, I always say I'm going to arrive at minimum an hour before service, right? A minimum, and that's just a minimum. However, if you look down, it will tell you when I actually will arrive.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, of course, professional grade sound equipment. I don't go into detail of the sound equipment because, and it's no offense to anybody, but if I do, you're going to be like, yeah, I don't know what that means, but it
Right.
sounds great.
Right.
So typically, I just tell you, you're not going to get some $20 speakers there. I'm not going to come here with a JBL. What's those little or what is those?
So personal speaker
Right,
systems.
correct.
The
So it's
personal.
going to be actual professional grade speakers, and then of course I will be professionally, dressed, and then the staff will be there 2 hours before the event scheduled. Then I do allow my staff to take breaks, so my attendant, right? So I do allow them to take breaks. I mean that's fair. So I just let them know, like, yes, they can take a 15-minute break here and there. So if you do see them down, yes, that is a known. They're human too. They're gonna get tired. Their
Right.
feet hurt. So yes, they can take a break. Client obligations. So I do ask, and I put this in here, 16 by 18 or eight. Sorry, 6 by 8 width. Basically, length is 16, and that's to put my lights, speakers, and my podium, and then I just need 8 inches in width, so from the wall. So basically, that is the space requirement for my setup. It goes into the amp circuits. However, I know some venues don't have separated, and I make it work.
Right.
Um, that's not that big of a deal killer. I don't really hold venues to that. I mean, clients to that, because it's most clients gonna be like, yeah, I don't know what the venue have. So I whenever they look at that, I get questions about it. I tell them like that's not a big deal killer. I will make it happen. If I have to run an extension card, just know um, this is why I have to run an extension cord, because if I plug it up, there's already too many things plugged up to that circuit. It pops the breaker every time I turn on this sub. So
Right.
it, aesthetically pleasing. It's not going to be aesthetically eye appeasing that I have to run this long extension cord, but that is why. So that's why I put that in there. Then I tell about timeline and planning. 21 days before the event, I go into venue access. Mario knows I go on my rants to him sometimes about this, and
Yes,
it's nothing.
indeed. I think we both go back and forth. We share those.
And look, it's nothing against the clients. It's just more or less, if you hire vendors and we have a certain time to get out the venue, just respect that, because we're all trying to get back home to our families. We get there early. There are a lot of times that you as a client have 30 people helping you, or 20 people helping you, and it just could be myself and another individual that's packing up all this equipment that we're trying to get out of there within an hour or 30 minutes sometimes, that they give us these crazy short windows. And then we have to drive home. So um, it's, for me, I think that's one of my biggest pet peeve is just give me an uninvaded space to where I can park, unload and load and get out the way after the venue, and then when I'm loading up. So I do carry a liability insurance, so it goes into that. So I stated off the back, I don't hide it. If the venue needs me to provide it, and then I need to add them as additional, like on the policy, I can let it be known. And then we go into the force measure and contingencies, national disasters, government action, public health. That was a big thing with COVID. Civil unrest, severe weather, cyber attacks, power failure, venue emergencies, right? It goes into all of that. I even have things for lighting within 10 miles, and we go in. I had to add this last year for temperatures for outdoors events for additional services like photo booth.
Mhm.
I burned up a screen and two computers because extreme weathers last year. That was a very expensive lesson that I learned last year about temperature. Didn't matter that it was covered. Didn't matter that I had a fan
Right.
on it.
It
Uh,
didn't. Yep.
no, didn't help. None of that helped. So that was a very expensive lesson that I had to learn last year, and that was added. Um, I even put a 15 miles per hour wind. Anything I feel over 15, 20 miles, and I gauge, um, especially you going 20 miles per hour wind with speakers on tripod. Sometimes if we don't have, if just depending on the event, it can be kind of dangerous. So I
Yeah.
put that in there.
Because even
Technical,
the because even the column speaker systems are not stable enough to take on someone like leaning on it or just putting
correct,
their hand on it.
correct. Now I've heard the Maui 44s are pretty beefy and they can take it. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's why I want to get. That's my next one that I'm going to be getting. Uh, we go to technical contingencies, right? Backup equipment on site. I also let it be known that I have battery. Now, however, this is my biggest thing too. If you need us to have battery, and Mario, I don't think we talked about this, right? Not all DJs have battery powered options, right?
Right. They don't have power stations. You're absolutely right.
Right.
You're right.
So I know Mario, and he was one of the first ones who heavily invested in power stations, and then I think I followed suit a little bit. We probably did around the same time. I know
Right.
I had a generator, and then I was started slowly getting away from the generator just for the sound, gas, and I was like, I got tired of with messing with that, and I started going to the batteries. Um, those things are expensive. Those
I
things are
mean, yeah,
expensive.
and that's that. But it makes life so much easier.
It does.
But it costs you. Anytime it's easy, it's gonna cost you.
It's gonna cost you. Because my whole ceremony system can be battery powered operated. I don't need an outlet. So you ask me to go on a beach, you ask me to go in some wooded creek area that doesn't have battery or outlet, excuse me. I can run speakers. I can run everything that you need me to run,
Right.
microphones, everything, right? But it's still the batteries and everything. The battery powered speakers and everything. They're not cheap. They're a little bit more expensive than just your regular average speaker. Then we go into cancellations and rescheduling, right? Um, I, I try to give money back as I can. So if they cancel 180 days out, I give full refunds. Anything between 100, like that's less than 180 days, that's between 179 days and 90 days, we do 50%. And this is, and I'll give you this is not a punishment. It's basically you have to gauge on how much of a hit is your company taking, far as all right, now we're within 3 months of this date. How likely is it for me to actually book this date again? 3 months, you got a 50% chance. That's just honestly what it is. There's a 50% chance, right?
Right.
Anything under 3 months, you basically are hoping somebody gets a last minute cancellation, has a change of heart, like you know what, I didn't want a DJ, but now I want a DJ, or there's emergency cancellation. Like that's what you're after 3 months. That's what you're banking on. So it is a big detriment to the company when you cancel after so many months, and the company has already said no or rejected to other clients who potentially wanted that date. And that's the only reason why you see companies with the rescheduling fees and refund policy. Now I do things differently for military because I get it. Military, they move, they get PCS orders, they get deployment orders. So military is a whole different ball game.
It is, and the thing is, cancellations, and that's one of the things, like being, and that's one of the things being around military towns and having clients that are in the military can become extremely challenging. I know one year I had like I think 11 cancellations due to the
Right,
fact that there was something going on in the world and the military had to be relocated, and that pretty much took a heavy hit. But that's just again that's something to where we have to put together boundaries to protect ourselves from situations like that. Now, me, I know the way the market is here in Fayetteville area. Even if I cancel, and it's very rare that I can't resell sell a date. I can. I think 30 days. Once I get to 30 days, then it becomes a challenge.
right,
Anything greater than that is not really that challenging to a degree, because especially if it's during peak time, peak season, they you'll have DJs, they'll call out, you have situations happen, they have to change the date and the DJ can't go because it's peak season. So it flows, but outside of peak season, what's peak season, just so people know, peak season starts in May and end in October. That's where the bulk of most of the DJs are going to make their money. When we start getting closer to the winter months, um, like November, December, January, February, it all depends on
right.
what type of services are you providing, because then you're dealing with a lot more corporate events during that time frame.
Correct. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Then we go into intellectual property and media. Basically, that just says anything that I take. So, like photo booth, photography, videography. So, if I usually try to take a video of the event, that I have the sole means and the rights to basically post it on my social media. I can edit it how I see fit. I can put my logo on it, basically for commercial use. As me basically selling my company. Um, we talk about music licensing. We touched on that earlier. Like I said, I know a lot of people send us their Apple playlist. They send us their Spotify playlist. Um, I take that playlist and then I have to go. If I don't have the song, I have to go find it
Right.
on a record pool. It's I mean it's just kind of one of the things is you gotta pay to play, honestly. And I look, I'm not knocking any DJ or company that doesn't, that just uses it. I know there are some services now. I do use uh not Title. What's the other one?
I know you're talking about stems.
No, it is Title. Sorry, it is Title. I do use Title DJ. So like when I get requests, if I don't have the song and it's like a request, like in the moment, I can find it. But that's super like iffy because not all streaming services have every
Correct.
song. And then sometimes, what if you have spotty internet? You know, so and then it just goes into like if there is an issue, what are the actions? So me, I tend to for me, I tend to try to solve it within each other. So we go into um, mediation before we go to
Right.
litigation, right? Before we have to take it to court. So if we can solve it, so say let's just say I didn't provide a service that you thought I was supposed to provide. I go into the contract. It's not in the contract. I show you it's not in the contract. Then at that point we have no. There's really no merit that I was supposed to provide that service. In my email, I pretty much make it very very clear to please review everything. Like make sure every service that you want, every add on that I told you you're gonna get, everything is there. We're human. Sometimes we miss things. So there has been times where somebody's like, "Hey, I don't see this," and I'm like, "Oh, you know what? You're right. I apologize. Let me add that real quick." And I'll delete the contract and I'll re-add it. And I was like, "Good catch. Thank you for for catching that." So there have been times where I have just overlooked or my mind was going too fast and I thought I typed it
Right.
into it and put it in there and I was thinking I did, but my fingers didn't actually put it in there. So um, there have been times, like I said, where I have just plumb forgot to put a service in there and they it's been found. So um, let's say um, I've had failures on. I had a failure on one of the Coast Park. It got moisture in it. When it was raining cats and dogs, and I had to come from the outside venue. Um, I had to kind of pre-stage the equipment to the venue open, and to get everything in there on time. And it got moisture
Right.
in it. Just wouldn't. It clogged up and went fire. Granted, it was out of my control. However, I did issue a refund for that. I just gave him a full refund. So again, I try to mediate things prior to going to litigation. I don't think anything should be that serious to where we had to go to
Right.
court. But I do put it in there. Um, give me the opportunity to fix it or show that hey, one, I didn't. That was not something we agreed upon.
But you know what, Chris?
Uh,
But that's something that I learned my lesson behind that. That we really, and that's what I say in my contract. It does cover. We really have to understand when you put us in a hardship in a setup that's extremely difficult to deal with, like when it comes to setup time, or if it's
right.
bad weather, that can cause some serious. I mean, I've know right now. I can say right now, I have lost two speakers, a controller, and a mixer because I was exposed to the rain. Uh,
Correct.
that is something that people need to understand. I've even lost the iPad because it was raining and it fell into a puddle, and I was so upset because hey, the area that I was supposed to be using was not accessible for me to download my equipment. So I had to go a whole different route. And because of that route, iPad fell in the water and it got ruined. I've lost a lot of
Yep.
equipment based off of clients not paying attention to the venue or the environment that they put us in. And so you really have to cover yourself in the contract with that. Because nowadays, if you don't have a plan A through Z for backup, you like I said, you gotta do the right thing. Give that money back.
Yep. So we'll put a dollar amount on mine last year. Last year, when if I remember correctly, it was 4327 that I lost worth of
Mm,
equipment. $4,327 worth of equipment due to when it was the hottest day. Uh, three things burnt up on that day, and then when it rained, I lost. That's when that controller got messed up.
right.
So yeah,
We ain't got no cheap
yeah,
stuff either. It'd be different if the controller was like $1. It'd be different. We just okay, yeah, we just throw it away, go get another
right.
one. But we're talking about most controllers now. A good controller is running you anywhere between 600 to almost like I said, I'm gonna say almost $2,500.
And see, and the biggest thing for me, the 600 ones are USB powered, and I'm very scared of the USB power one. I had a USB power one, I just didn't like it. So I always like the external power
Right.
ones.
You have
So
what is it,
USB
your
power,
analog and your digital, and your digital. Most of the digitals are USB powered.
right? So, complete transparency. I know that was one of the decisions because I did raise my prices this year, uh, just slightly, and that was one of the factor and reasons of raising prices. Is um, one, of course, the trend of how much equipment is rising, to buy backup equipment and to continue to buy equipment to continue to do other means of things. And then two, I had to replace so much equipment last year that it was just, I mean, I had to. My hand was kind of forced. So you kind of go to legal terms, or sorry, additional terms. So now I go into talking about the venue, right? Because some venues have volume
Yes.
levels, and I basically cover that, saying that I have to comply
Right.
with all venue requirements. That's not even a topic we can discuss. If the venue said I can't do it, I can't do it. It's not, well, what if? No, the venue said I can't do it. Now, if you get the venue to say I can do it, then they give me my confines that I can do it in, then I can do it that way. However, until they tell me I can do it, I can't
Right.
do it. Um, Safety protocols as well. We talk about safety protocol, and then we talk about communication. After that is basically you sign the contract. I do digital signatures. This one is not signed yet. You don't see a time and an IP address, so this one is not signed. So this one is still open. But that is my contract. The rewrite of it for 2025 is, you see, 2025, because I just redid mine not too long ago.
Yeah, I redid mine last year, and all I did was there was significant things were um, really enforcing time management in reference to time for setup and time for breakdown, and the other thing was identifying the spacing that's required for me to set up and the spacing needed for the equipment to be safety used to where it doesn't cause a fire or someone to trip hazard. And that's a
Right.
big thing with some of the equipment that we use is we got to put things in a position to where they don't become a trip hazard. So
Exactly.
so that's
Exactly.
why, and that's why I say a contract is like a contract can go both ways. It covers the DJ and it covers the customer, and it's agreements to where we everyone understands what's expected. So there's no
Exactly.
that's what's good for a contract. But without a contract, and if it's just a verbal, then it's just based off of, well, how'd you say it? How did you say it? What did you say? You know, because you can say one thing, but it can mean something completely different to somebody else.
Exactly. No, you're exactly right. And I just brought this one up to show you the difference. So this was the old one that I was using prior to that one. And you can see about the checks. I did redo how I do like 501 threes, because there's C's, there's E's, there's A's, there's all kind of different ones. So I took this one off just because C was very vague. So um, now I have ones that I can tailor to, you know, the 501(c)(3) series. Um, there's not a lot of changes in it, but I kind of changed like verbiage and
Right.
how it flows. And um, I used to have them initial under everything. So this is like the company's obligations, and I would initial under there or sign, and then the clients, they would initial under their obligations, and it was just a lot of things that they had to read through,
Mhm.
right? It kind of got, I think for them, it kind of got overwhelming, and they were like, "All right, half the time they didn't even look at it and try to
Right.
read it."
Right.
So I basically condensed it down. Everything is in there that's in this one, and it says the same thing. However, it's just not as wordy, because we talk about medical and venue location limitations, permit pricing. Um, so we talk about everything: photography, general media, photo booth. Right? We talk about all of that in the other one. So it's just not as lengthy.
Correct.
So,
So, But this is one of those things to where every person is different because, like I said, you have your version of your contract. I have my version of my contract. They pretty much cover all those things for us to be successful. It covers us for to make sure we're successful. Because like me, one of the biggest things that I've learned over the years is as long as you show up on time and you have functioning equipment, you've already accomplished 90% of what needs to be done. Um, and
Correct.
that's where most teachers get in trouble is they don't show up on time. And to me, it's like it makes us all look bad. It's not just a individual thing. It's a thing that affects us all. And I think that was one of the biggest things I heard last year. I mean, off and on over the 12 years, going on 13, because I know this year will make 13 years, but just going over looking back at things, it's like wow, most people they showed up on time, everything else worked itself out. But when you got
Right.
DJs like you're setting up when the guests are coming in at the same time you're setting up, that's a bad thing. That's a real bad
Exactly.
thing.
Exactly.
And even
Exactly.
though the
See,
client says, "Hey, it's okay," we're okay with it. But guess what? That's not what the guests see. The guests don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
what's going
They
on?
all it sees
Exactly.
is that you're setting
Exactly.
up at the time that you like. Hey, okay, I thought this thing started in about 30 minutes. Why is the DJ still setting up? You could have agreements all day with that client that everything was okay because of something that they didn't want to pay for or something they didn't want to do, but it makes you look bad. So you have
Exactly.
to spell out. You
You're
have,
right.
and that's one thing about DJs. You have to look out for your image. You have to.
Yep. Yep.
And one customer will come in and can care less about your image as long as they get what they need from you. But you got to protect your image.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, so Chris, looking at this year, 2025, um, what's the biggest thing that jumps out at you for this year? What do you think is going to be so different than all the other years that we've been doing this?
Honestly, right now for me, nothing has really stood out to be different. I think moving from, I think we're still, I think we can officially say we're kind of out of the COVID
Right,
era. Um, because now everybody we're they looks like they're going back into the big ceremonies. They're wanting the ceremony, they're wanting the cocktail, and then they're wanting receptions. I do get the ones who just want receptions here and there, but typically I'm seeing all three now. So I think we're kind of getting back to your typical what we used to see post or pre-COVID, and I'm starting to see the numbers
right,
come back up. When we first got out of COVID, and then that year after, the numbers were still a little low, as far as like how many would attend. Now I'm starting to see constant 100,
right. That's
150,
it. That's
and
exactly what I was
you
going
know,
to say. Is that the trend of 100 to 150 for weddings is getting back up there? Where back in the days, after COVID, you'd be surprised if you got 75. So
right,
now it's
yeah,
getting strong to where most of the ones I've just booked for this year and next year, they got a guest count of between 100 to 150, which is great
right,
because everyone knows the planning factor is like maybe 10% of that is not going to show up. But
correct,
that I'm learning that, and then the venue choice selection, I'm kind of getting surprised with the venue selection. That's a whole nother different thing. Is most clients are spending more money into the venue now compared to before. Um, and I'm not sure if that has anything to do with what the venues are doing now, because some of your venues are moved into the position to where they're providing all the services.
right,
So
right.
that again is another thing to look into because you got there's starting to become a normal trend for a DJ to have they have their own DJ for their facility.
Correct,
I'm starting to
correct,
see a major trend now. That was very rare. I know once upon a time,
correct.
that's what a venue wants is they want to be able to say, "Hey, we have our own DJ,
This is my yep,
so we
yep,
ain't got to go out here and look out here for this or that."
right. That no, that's true. But I think too, what's aiding to that more venue choices is again just so many weddings now. now people are really comfortable. Because again, even after we got out of COVID, the different strands were coming out, and there was still a lot of uncertainty. But now you hear about the bird flu and all that, but everybody's just kind of like a little bit over it at this
Right.
point, and so they're still going on about their daily life and still planning, right? So I think that's why we're starting to see like some of the higher end venues booking
Mhm.
more because now it's the market is getting
Yeah, it
flooded
is.
again.
It
So
is, and I mean, because like I said, the cost, everybody's cost is going up, uh, and
correct,
in some cases, I get it because, like for DJ, I know for DJ equipment, most of our DJ equipment is going up at least $20 to $30 more than what we
correct,
normally would have to pay for it. So I get that
yeah.
part, but again, that's something to where operational costs is what was hurting a lot of people. Is that operational
Yeah.
cost? I mean, I look at that one venue that went like the operational costs and the price didn't make sense. Even though the cost was expensive, it still wasn't enough to cover the operational costs to run that venue.
So let me ask you this: if you had to per event, what are you paying for gas?
I would say for each event, I'm spending at least $50. Um,
Okay, that's not bad because I'm alone at 70, I think 70, 75 per event. Because and then that's within the that 70 or 60 mile range. And now if I go out of that,
right,
I'm
right.
I'm
Because like
everywhere.
me, when I say 50, I'm talking because most of the venues that are within an hour, those are the
Right,
ones that like because like Mariani's, for example, is almost close. It is an hour away, but it's one
right,
of my most popular venues. I do average about 8 weddings per year at that location. So going there and coming back, that's a full tank of gas, especially when you're
right.
pulling a trailer. Now, if I didn't have to pull a trailer, it'd
Exactly.
be different. But anytime I have hook up that trailer, it kind of like takes away, it doubles up the load on how fast my gas goes. Oh, that kind of rhymes. It doubles up the
Exactly.
load. Okay, yeah. But but that's something that again, all that has to be taken into consideration. And a lot of DJs again is a quick buck, or they're not taking time to manage it correctly. And I stress to people, no matter what you do, if you want to consider a side hustle, do it to a standard. Um, make it make sense. Like I said, if you're going to drive and your time, make the price make sense. I know
Yes,
when I first
exactly.
started this business, every DJ that was well known in the DJ entertainment side of things, the standard cost was $400. No one can
Mm,
go below 400 now, unless it was for a special, But that was like, hey, as DJs, we need to control our pricing, so everyone sticks to $400 or more. And because what people were doing back then is they were trying to say, well, this DJ said he'll do it for 200. Well, guess what? You go with that DJ and you go let him or her do that for 200. So we had a tight network. Now I'm seeing that network, a lot of network is gone because most DJs are just trying to get a gig so they have lower prices. So they kind of undersell themselves what their value is. So then you have some of us who have grown over the years where we're able to easily make $1,000 for an event. And then you still have the same DJs that are stuck with the $200 to $300 gigs. And they say, well, people ain't gonna pay it. Well, if they can find someone cheaper to do it, yeah, but the thing is, you got to really highlight, why am I the right DJ? Why should you
exactly.
pay that? And it takes the time to where if you're not communicating, and I think that's one of the things I've seen across the board just over these last 3 weeks, just doing some more research about some of the changes that are taking place, is the communication part is the biggest selling part of your brand, your company, your services. If you can't explain why your services are the best one, why are you going to go with me? Why do you need to use me as your DJ? What is it that you do that no other DJ does? And you have to show
Yep.
your
Yep.
value. Like me, I provide services to where not only do I covering down for being a DJ, but I'm also a safety net when it comes to videography and photography. So that's just like, whoa, that's an extra. So a lot of people look at that, they're like, okay, well, dang, you know what? I'm even though I'm still gonna get this videographer or this photographer, you are kind of like the safety net just in case if they mess up or something goes wrong. Show why your value is like, and then a lot of people say, well, how are you going to DJ? Well, it's technology. If you know how to implement your technology, because most of the stuff, I only got to push the button one time. It does not have any effect on my DJing services at all. But a lot of people are like, nah, that's too. No, you're trying to stay in your comfort zone. And in order to grow a business, you have to stay in a position where you're never comfortable.
Right.
You
Correct.
got to
Correct.
stay
Yep.
uncomfortable. But once you get
Yep.
comfortable, that's when you start making mistakes.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right
But for
about
my
that.
DJs, I really want to stress to them that you got to come up with a game plan to justify your costs, to justify your value. You really got to take time and don't just let someone tell you this is what I'm going to do, because that's why most DJs that come up in club systems, they have a hard time adjusting their prices because they're so used to getting paid at $200, $300 to DJ in the club. Same thing with some of my skate DJs. It's the same thing. It's like you're used to getting paid under your value, but most times you just go with it because it's just an easy buck, and or you're trying to be helpful to a degree. But most of the DJs, look, I'm telling you, $2,800 to $3,200 for a wedding. Ooh,
Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
because that's why if you start doing
Right.
the numbers and then, like you said, your operational costs and then the takeaway when you're done, hey, it's easy money. It's easy
Right.
money only if
Yeah.
you plan it right. I'm gonna say it that
Right.
way.
Correct. But I was just saying, if you do it right,
If
correct.
you
Correct.
ain't planning it out right or doing it right, then it's not easy money. It might be money you have to get back. So
Exactly.
do the right thing.
Exactly.
So what other things like so what's your big thing about this year? Because like me, I know we were talking about speakers. Um, I think speakers is still gonna be the number one thing. I know they worked for me last year.
That.
Speakers were a big part of how my operation got better. Um, but see, to me, I think I'm good. I think I spent like $5,000 into speakers last year, and all I did was buy four speakers. so
Right.
so I think I'm done.
See.
I'm done with the speaker side. I am looking at some other things, but I think reached my comfort zone when it comes to equipment.
For me, I think of course speakers is going to be my number one push again. Again, like I said, I just want to get the Maui 44 G2s. Um, I think that's going to be, and I have to decide if I'm going to do that this year. I think that's kind of more what I'm leaning to this year. And then the booth that I showed
Right.
you with the TV, because that's going to be my. So now I will have three different booths that they can choose from. So um, once I do that, honestly, if I get two more battery powered Gobo lights, um, I think I'm good. I'm done. I am done. So I got a little bit more spending to do. I have a
I
little
think
bit
I
more
am.
spending
I
to
think
do.
I can easily can like after the Power Station thing that I invested in at the late last year, and like I said, the new speaker systems. I love the Bose S1s, the Pro Plus.
Mhm.
I've gotten a lot of great use out of those. I mean, just the fact that I can carry an adapter and hook up a mic to it real quick, and bam, I'm in action. Uh, that's really
Right.
improved my operation as a DJ. Um, so that's just something to where nowadays, as a DJ entertainer, you have to look at the equipment, and if you can't get a multi-function, a multi-use out of it, then it might not be a good investment because nowadays most of the equipment that's coming out, you can use it in so many different methods and so many different ways.
You know what I forgot to mention, and I think I told you about this. My PA sound rack. I'm going to update the mics in that one. So I got the Shure
Mhm.
SLXDs. I think I'm gonna get the QLXDs for that one. I'm gonna cry when I get those, but I'm thinking I'm gonna get those for that. So that's on the horizon for that as well.
And so, like, so mics, yeah, I'm slowly but surely upgrading my mic. So I ain't gonna say upgrade. I'm switching over to Sennheiser because I don't know what's going on with Shure, but
You just getting the wrong shirts. I'm telling you.
I mean, no, but I got, but see, that's the thing is, I have 4 Shure mics I've had for almost 7 years, and no problems, no knock on wood, no problems, no issues. But I just bought
Mhm.
2 brand new Shure mics, and they didn't even last 30 days.
You gotta get the. I'm telling you. Look. Um, when I get another, so I'm gonna put this other shirt in that control booth, my command booth. Um, when I buy another one, why they upgrade the SLX? So I like the XLXD. I feel like those are um I feel like those are great mics. Actually, I hadn't had any problems with those, and I actually just bought two distribution centers, or two distribution racks for those to actually boost the signal, which I hadn't had any issues with it. I'm just kind of going overkill, right? Um, why? So my vision with the PA rack is to get more focused on sound enforcement instead of weddings and um, and events. So I want something that has a little bit more power and a little bit more range. So the QLXD is what actually will give me that. It also lets me put a little bit more in, so I can kind of combine more. I can't remember exactly how much the XLXD, how many I can daisy chain together. However, I don't think I ever meet that number, even with the QLX. But QLX are just a little bit beefier with the power output. That I'm just gonna get those just to put them in my PA rack, just for extra added security, since that's gonna be mainly that what that rack is for, is nothing but PA. So
Now explain now, since you said it, please explain to individuals what a rack is, because a lot of people don't understand that terminology. When you say rack, please explain, what does that mean?
amp rack, basically you have several different types. You have some that are on coasters. You have some that you carry, you case. Basically, what it is if you picture a computer tower in a room, and you have those components that are actually fixed into that tower. That's basically what a rack is. I'm trying to see if I have a picture, so I could better show. I think I have one somewhere. I just don't know if it's on this computer. Still trying to get everything moved over to this. And that was another thing that added to my cost. I had to buy, what? How many computers did I buy? About 2 new computers. I bought a desktop and another laptop.
Oh wow.
Um, that's not in conjunction with the photo booth stuff.
Oh yeah, cause that the mirror. You talking about the mirror? Okay.
Hmm.
But yeah, but that's what I'm like now today. People like, especially my DJs, because right now I'm seeing a trend. A lot of DJs. I wish. I know one DJ reached out. Would love, she wants some, like, she's looking for some speakers. Um,
I'm gonna try to send
he
one
says
real
why the
quick.
upgrade, the XLX is nice.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was just answering. I
Okay,
saw
I
that
just
earlier.
saw it pop up. Okay. Um, but that's one of the things is that I'm really wishing there's a way I can help her, and I think, you know what, I think I'm going to reach out to her, let her know, because I know for me, I use ZZ Sounds to build up my company. Um, that was the big thing for me, is because I didn't have the funding coming in to go out and purchase everything all at one swoop. So ZZ Sound, I love ZZ Sounds because it allows you to purchase your equipment, pay your equipment, use your equipment, and pay for it at the same time. And so that's how I was able to get professional speakers at the very beginning, which was the QSCs. The QSC speakers were my first, I would say, my first professional grade speakers compared to the Radio Shack. Radio Shack speakers I was using.
All right, I'm getting this image now so they can see what it is. Where is it? I don't want to show that one. Here we'll start with this one. All right, so where is a window? There we go. Okay. All right. It's ready to be shared.
Okay.
So this is
I had to hit the. Okay, here we go.
all right. So this is like the top portion of the amp rack. Your mixer sits again. There's several different versions of these. This is just the one that I have. This is I think this is a 14 unit rack. So you'll see 14U. This is my mixer that I have on the top, and then you see all the components here. So, of course, this is what an amp rack is. This is an old model because I have 4 mics in here now. However, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to replace those 4 that I have with 6, and I'm going to just kind of move everything down, and I'm probably going to move that down. The fans that circulate air. So, like I said, as I kind of get heavier into PA, that's one of the things that I'm going to be revamping is this. But basically, you plug in your input devices here because I have everything daisy chained already up to my mixer. Um, if you see
Chris, keep
this
talking.
right here,
I got to
go
run
ahead.
down here real quick. But keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So I can control it wirelessly from an iPad via this network. So everything will be controlled wirelessly. So I could have it at the front of the house, the rear house, but I can control it from my iPad. My power is on the back side, and then I have my outputs here, my 2 left and right, and then this was for Bluetooth. So if I wanted to control it wirelessly to speakers, I had devices that sat off in here, right here, that I could just control it. However, now with the different Bluetooth devices that they have now, I'm probably going to remove this right here. So now I can make these inputs, and then I can just use the Bluetooth devices that they have right here and here to send sound out now with all the new development of Bluetooth. But this is basically antenna distribution rack here. This is made for this one. Currently, what's in there are 4 Phoenix Pros. That's why I essentially have knowledge of Phoenix Pros. I am not a big fan of Phoenix Pro. They have their applications. However, for professional PA sound and stuff, when you're trying to do long range, I'm just not a fan of it. I do not think it does justice. So I will be getting rid of those and going, like I said, to the QLXDs. Um, in this drawer right here, this is where I keep all my microphones, batteries, all the other accessories, and any odds and end pieces that I might need. And then, of course, this is my power distribution, which actually powers everything on here. So from the back, power comes into here, and then I just flip this switch, and everything's powered. It also has 2 lights, so if I'm in darkness and I need to look for something, I can. But that's what an amp rack is in a gist. So, and this is a digital mixer as well. You can see the microphones in there. So,
Yeah. See me every time I see this setup, it reminds me so much of the DJ booth in Korea. Because, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, like in Korea, the technology they're so far ahead of us when it comes to technology that it's ridiculous. Because that setup is similar to how the club system has their setup and everything, and their club system um on the installation. Was it from? oh my gosh, my mind just went. Camp Humphreys at Tommy D's
Hmm.
is that this system had the video DJ, like where back then, of course, that was back in 2006, where they had the video. Was it the mix? Not the mixer. The what's the things called? The Pioneer were the first ones to come out with it. It was a video DJ console to where you could take a DVD or CDs. It did
He's talking about
right,
CDJs.
and I tell you,
Yep.
it's been so long since I used one. And you can control video, and they had the system set up to where there was 10 TV, 10 like what 50 inch or 40, like pretty much 50-inch screen TVs throughout the entire club, to where the DJ booth controlled all of that. And this is back in
Right.
2006. So then I look at the technology now, and I mean, like, we're just like some of the stuff that they did then. We're just now getting to that. I mean, we're talking about almost close to
Exactly.
20 years later, and we're just like some of the stuff is just coming on board. That's what is fascinating to me when I see certain things like yours. I remember that time when did go out to the storage area, and you did the demo where you was able to control that digital mixer with your iPad. Uh,
Right. Right.
that's
Oh, I love that. I love
see me.
that.
I would love that, but I just don't love the price.
Oh well, yeah. So they actually coming
Yeah, they
down in
are.
price
They are.
from when I
I'll
bought.
keep my eye on it because,
Yeah.
but that's just something to where I know, if you're really heavy, especially when you start talking about doing bigger events, it's really
Mhm.
good to invest in that equipment because you have in your storage alone, you have enough to do a whole concert all by yourself. Um,
I wish. I need a couple more of those dual
yeah,
subs. I need about three more of those dual subs, and I think I might.
but that's something to where you do what you can that's comfortable. You stay to when I say comfortable, it's more so something that you don't want to take on an event that you don't have the capacity to do. And I
Right.
think that's one of the things that like here, as a mobile DJ, are the common denominator is that most venues can't even hold more than 150. That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
I think that's across the board to where it keeps it easy for us as mobile DJs to maintain our market in a sense because we know most venues are not no greater than 150 to 200. Most of
Yep.
your larger venues that like say for example, like was it the Coliseum for example,
Mhm.
that's a whole different beast, especially if you're in the big area.
Right.
So
Yep.
but yeah, but like I said, 2025 on when it comes to doing business as a DJ entertainer, look, we are wide open. We're back wide. I mean, I think the COVID is almost completely no longer a effective element that kept us because I know when we hit COVID, that hurt a lot of these. I know right now there's a lot of DJs that got out of this business because um it's just the market had crashed to a degree, and then the pricing is like we're like I said, the only competition we have is technology.
Right. Yep.
Because
Yep.
I'm telling you, got to the point now. I mean, you could DJ with an iPad and two speakers if you really know what you're
Yep.
doing.
You know. Yeah. You're right. You are
And
right.
so it could be it's flexible. It is flexible. It's one of those I call it very fluid markets. Very fluid market.
It's about like this North Carolina weather.
Oh, no, that's extremely fluid. We go one snow day, we get 1 inch. Next day we get about 4 inch, but they still
Right.
have the same effect across the board.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh boy!
But I ain't gonna complain. I guess I take the win. I guess.
But like I said, I think what we'll do is when we do our get together that we have on Sunday, I think we will
Hmm.
probably do a quick run around. I'm gonna bring my little high speed little portable PA, like not PA, but my public affairs like set up to where we can do a Q&A and just talk about things in general because I think I'm looking forward to if everybody shows up this Sunday, I'm really looking forward to
Right.
it because then we really can get into the market, especially didn't go in the Goldsboro area. Um, there's so much to tap into. The Goldsboro, East Carolina area. Um, it's like I mean, if you get the closer you get to Greenville, the closer you get to being a DJ in the 1990s. Because I'm telling you, I've every time I go out that way to an event, it just amazes me that you still got DJs that are still using amps. Uh, that
Right.
that is not knocking them or anything like that, but I just remember them days, and those were days I used to hate because you had to carry those heavy speakers. The speakers sometimes were not that heavy, but them amps, and then at the end of the night, you had to let them cool off before you can pack them up. I don't miss them days.
I don't miss them either. I don't miss them either. I had to mess with a passive and an active system last year, and I that was enough for me. I'm done
Yeah, I
with it.
mean
I'm completely all
it's
active
a
now.
different.
Well, I've been active since starting, but
Yeah, I became active when I bought those QSCs. When I bought those
right.
QSCs, that was a whole nother thing. And then from the QSCs, I went to the Bose systems, and like I said, I'm in heaven now when it comes to like speaker
Right.
systems and capability. I just love the idea. Now Bluetooth, I still don't care too much for Bluetooth because of the delay. But
Hmm.
what Bose is doing now with the adapters that they have coming out for their speaker systems, I think they're pretty much the most accurate besides Sennheiser, or pretty much the delay is not as bad.
Right.
But you did notice that they're still coming out with more adapters. Right? Wireless
Yep. Yep.
wireless systems are starting to become a real
That's
big
not going
thing.
anywhere. That's not going anywhere. That's the new trend. That's what I was saying. Is in my rack, I had it wired up to put. I forgot the original system, but now I'm gonna get rid of that when I redo that rack, because you can just get the adapters now. So it's literally plug and play. It's XLR plug and play
You
adapters
talking
at
about
this
the
point.
ALDI? What was it? What was them adapters that
Uh, yeah, we always say it, but I could picture them because they're
The
the
Alto?
alto one.
Yeah, I was so
Yep.
mad. I bought those things. I think I used them things maybe 3 times.
I used them extensively, but now it's no point now because you have to set the volume on
Hmm.
those. They got volume
Hmm.
control on those. I ain't got
Now,
time for all that. Look, I'm gonna set the channel on my transmitter and receiver, and we
now,
done.
I think the time I
Look,
picked
we
up
done.
a signal from a radio signal from the police, like the police talking over the radio, I said, okay, I'm done. Because I was flipping out. I thought it was something off of YouTube or something. And it was a radio. I had picked up a radio call from the police going through my speaker systems
Yep.
at an event. And I said, oh, no, I can't. That never can happen again.
Right. Yep. See, Javaris said alto. Yep.
Alto.
Yep. 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 Look, we got to get him on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the Altos.
Yeah, we gonna put you on the spot. Hey, we gonna put you on the spot. We got to get him
Yeah,
on.
because, yeah, you're right. Look, get him out here. Yeah, but like I said, but this is again, um, I mean, me, the biggest thing I would love to do this year is do a lot more to help out a lot of young DJs coming into this, because there is a dying need of DJs. Like right now, the
Right.
market is booming. It is booming, and if you're
Yep.
not tapping into it, that means you're not doing something right. And I
Right.
keep saying it: if
Right.
you don't have a Google business page, you're losing out.
Okay. Well, look, we'll get with you.
We'll make sure we catch you next time. We do it every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. So I'm looking forward to you.
Yep. Uh, Well, we're about an hour
Yeah,
and
we're. I
30, so
think
we
yeah, we're
30
gonna go ahead and
minutes
shut it
open.
down.
So
It's time to go
yeah.
visit the fam. But
Yep.
ladies and gentlemen, I hope
So
y'all enjoy the show. If y'all again, if for all my beginning DJ entertainers out there, if you need assistance, you need help, or you have questions, look, don't hesitate to inbox us. We would love to provide information, help, direction in some cases, different methods. Like I said, ZZ Sounds. I think what's the other company that the ZZ Sounds and um,
You got American
American Music
Music
Supply.
Supply. You have
AMS. I know we call it AMS,
yep,
but those are methods and
yep.
ways to where you can get the equipment, and as you're getting money from your gigs, you're able to pay it off step by step. But that's how I build up my company. That was a big thing for me. DJ Easy Hutch, DJ Nate shared that information with me, and that allowed me to build a very professional company, DJ entertainment company, by using those two platforms. And they, again, interest free. Um, Go in. Normally, like I said, you build a good reputation, you build your own credit rapport with them. And as long as you maintain and you keep up, hey, that what you can do gets higher.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But again, yep, this was a good show, Chris. Like I said, next Wednesday. I know the main thing is that we took over today because Miss Tisha, she had to do her inventory to get ready for the rest of this year. But like I said, hey, welcome all DJ like vendors, anyone who would like to come in and speak and highlight about what's going on in the industry. By all means, let us know. We'll put you on and give you a chance to talk about the goods, the pros, the cons, the all the above.
Yeah, we gotta get some florists, cake designers, some of their aspects and views of what they're seeing.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, like most of the venues, yep, we'll see you on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
And just so people understand what that is a group of us. Majority of the DJs in the Goldsboro. I think I'm the only DJ that's not going to be in Goldsboro. It's not coming from Fayetteville, but it's a group of DJs. We're getting together to hang out, chit chat, talk about the industry, talk about what's going on, and see how we can improve our actual industry. So I'm looking forward to that on Sunday. All right. So y'all have a great night, and we'll see y'all next time.
Have a good one.